Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 31 of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am so happy you are here joining me today. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about all the things I have been crafting on lately. As you can tell by the bags poorly hidden around me, there are quite a few things to talk about today, so expect a longer episode. Lots of projects to talk about. Lots of shenanigans going on. So if that's something you are interested in, if you would like to spend some time hanging out with me in this wonderful virtual space, grab a drink, grab a craft, let's hang out. Usually we start, because it is winter, we start with a sock check. I do not have one today because I just flew home from Florida, which I was not planning to do if you watched last week's episode. But and I'll talk more about the vacation at the end of the episode for the people who are just here for knitting. But I will say what happened was I was talking to one of my coworkers on Monday and I was saying I wasn't sure what I was going to do for Christmas. And, made a throwaway comment that was like, I wish I could be in Florida. And she said, why don't you book a red-eye flight? And I was like, they're expensive. In fact, I'm going to show you how expensive they are. Pulled up my phone to my plane app and looked up tickets and they were super affordable. And I was like, actually, I think I'm going to go to Florida. And I texted my brother and we surprised my parents with it. They were so excited. Like, I knew my parents loved me. I did not realize how much my parents loved me until I surprised them for like a 5-day vacation. And they were just, it was like every time I walked in the room, they were just like so happy because I was just there. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. 10 out of 10. So yeah, I've had to move some stuff around in my schedule because I just impulse went out of town. But it's fine. We're still doing our 12 Days of Cast Ons, which is being run by Yarn and Yarns. And it's so much fun. You do 12, you have the entire month of January plus starting on Christmas Eve. I started earlier. I started on the solstice. I'm doing like the Yule, like the 12 days of Yule. Although I am going to have to put January 2nd on there as well. We'll get into that. But yeah, you cast on 12 things that are your projects for the next year. Just kind of like have everything rolling, have everything on the needles, and then you can just work through it as you want and like finish it, when it's time to actually work on them and finish them, but just get everything started in the month of January. I think that's an awesome idea. I've been having a lot of fun participating in that so far. So, yes. Sorry, I'm like looking at my notes. Today for drinks, we are being really boring. I have a mini Coke left over from my solstice party and leftover water from the airport. Planes don't give you this much water, but the airport will. So, yeah, I've been up since 4 a.m. So please, like, if I'm interrupting myself a lot, if I'm going all sorts of nuts, like, bear with me. I've been very excited to film this episode because I have so many things to show. But at the same time, I am so tired. So like roll with me. All right. Like let's roll on. Other things I will talk about at the end. I did throw my solstice party last Sunday, my Yule party. That was fantastic. We will get into that more at the end. And yeah, with all of that out of the way, I will also talk about the Secret Santa my knitting group did. That will also come up in this episode. With all of that out of the way now, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have no finished objects this week, except technically we're gonna go a little bit out of order. I have some tiny pigs. I even have some of them left. I'm gonna put on the screen the 5 tiny pigs I knit for my 12 days of cast on for the 23rd, which is my 3rd day. Behold them. And then I also had most of the ones from a specific Advent collection all collected together. Some of them had already been given away. They'd already fled their pen. But I will also put that picture up. And yeah, the ones that I still have left of the new babies, I have 3. And maybe I can get them all in a line on my hand. Look at the little babies. This is the Chichester, the pig pattern. I make them by holding fingering weight double, and then I knit them on a size 3 needle, and they take about 40 minutes for me. I do knit them inverted, so there's that. I make these a lot I keep them in a jar, and I hand them out to people who seem like they just need a little something, a little sprinkle of magic. Yeah, I started knitting those earlier this year in January, so I've made probably like 50 or something tiny pigs. But I wanted to clear up all of these yarns because I'm going to be using them in a different project for my 12 Days of Cast Ons. So I wanted all the pigs to be knitted up so that I knew I had the same amount of all the yarn, or roughly the same amount of all the yarn. And I also just kind of want to commit to making more tiny pigs next year because I've fallen off a little bit, but people love tiny pigs so much. Like, so much. I flew to Florida and I brought like a handful of tiny pigs with me and just kind of like handed them out to people and they were like so excited. It was so cute. Yes. So that's my only like technically finished object. Everything else is something that is either a new cast on or something that I've already been working on and just haven't like actually finished yet. So the first one we'll talk about, I'm hoping this is the right bag. No. In this bag, which is from Tiny Human Knits, I have my Flamingo Lingo socks, which I was supposed to finish, and I did not finish them. I took like a 4-hour nap yesterday, and then was like, why can't I sleep at night? And then got 2 hours of sleep last night. I have the first one completely done. Last time you saw it, I was here. So I have the first sock completely done, and I'm here on the second sock. This needs to be done by Friday because I need this bag for a different project. This is, the main color is Flamingo Lingo by Craftily Dyed Yarns. The contrast color is Knit Picks Stroll in the color Everglade. My vanilla recipe for socks is 56 stitches on size 1.5 flexi flips, and I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, 30 rounds for the leg, a slip stitch heel, however many rounds I need for the foot, and a square toe. So that's that project. I'm enjoying it. I want it to be off my needles. I'm a little bit bummed that it's not already done. But that's the only one I've been working on that is not 12 Days of Cast Ons because it's kind of like leftover. And I'm just trying to finish it between everything else. I could have gotten, my plan was to get close enough to done with it that I could have finished it on the plane today. And what ended up happening, which you will see later, is I bought so many books yesterday. I'm trying to like think about my days. I bought a bunch of books yesterday, and then I needed suitcase space, and there was another bag that was in my suitcase, and I needed to use that space for books. So this went into my checked bag, and this came with me on the plane, which you will see in a moment. So yeah. So yeah, anyway, that talk's not done is what I'm getting at, what I'm trying to say. So yeah, anyway, next project. This bag glows in the dark. I learned this last week. I don't know why this never occurred to me because it clearly looks like glow in the dark bugs. And I could have sworn I have tested it before and it didn't glow in the dark before, but it does now. So this bag is from my local goth clothing store, and it's supposed to be just like a generic cosmetics bag. I don't wear makeup. I just use it for knitting. And in this bag I have a sleeve. This is a sleeve. It does not look like it's a sleeve, I promise. It's a 3/4 sleeve. And this is the start of my Radvent sweater that I'm going to be knitting. I have all of the yarns in order next to me, just like the box that these are leaning against is the advent calendar that goes with this. And I've already cut the yarn, I've finished the sleeve, I'm ready to start the next color on it. I am very excited about it. I started this on the 21st, which was solstice or Yule. I'm going to use both of those terms interchangeably because they are interchangeable. And I worked on it during the day. I also threw my party, which again we'll talk about at the end, and worked on it at my party a little bit. And then I worked on it again, like some more during the week, because I was just like really happy about it. And I'm really enjoying this project so far. And I'm going to go rogue on it. So I hope I don't like severely mess up my cardigan. I think it's going to be okay. But yeah, I'm very excited, very, very excited for my little stripy Hobbit cardigan. That contrast color is from Knit Picks. It is Hawthorn and the color Nymph. And then the main colors I'm using are my Lantern Light Fibers Advent 2025, which was the Hobbit themed. We're going to get hydrated. Okay. The next thing I did, I have nothing to show for it. I had a tardigrade project. If you want to see more about that, in my very first podcast episode, I talk about the tardigrade pattern and I show it. I think I also show it in the second episode. And then I put it away and like never talk about it again. So that is what I unraveled on the 22nd. Because I'm going slightly rogue from the plan. Like what you're supposed to do is cast on 12 projects or just a couple projects. And I talked to a friend of mine about it. And I decided that there are some projects that need to be frogged that I've been sitting in my room for like literally years. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them have been sitting in my room for like literally years. And I'm just tired of looking at them. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to like unravel some things and count that as part of my 12 days. So like they're out of my room. The yarn is reclaimed. We're good. So I unraveled the tardigrade on the 22nd. On the 23rd, that was when I knit my 5 little piggies. So that's covered. On the 24th, I worked on a blanket until I had to drive to the airport. We're going unscripted. This is my half of a chocolate orange that I forgot. It was funny because I got home and I was like, I know that I have a half-eaten chocolate orange somewhere, but like, where is it? Obviously. Obviously. So, anyway, so this is, I did not cast this on. That would have been insane. But I put a couple hours of work into this blanket, which I want to have done next year. So we left off last time where the little fishy is. And so I finished one ball of scraps and started another. This is my self-striping blanket. And it is, the one, I'm holding 2 fingering weight colors together to knit a DK weight. But I'm following the stitch count for the fingering weight so that the strips are a little bit wider, just because I like the look of wider strips and because I'm lazy. I am significantly modifying the pattern because I knit my garter reversed. Like I do all of my garter purl instead of knit. And so I changed how I do my edges. I changed how I do the join. I also changed how I do the increase on the, yeah, and then I had to reverse my decreases because they're the opposite direction when you're purling. So yeah, basically the only thing I'm following is the cast on and the vibes. So yeah, but I love it so much. And I'm using, like, again, all of my scrap yarn self-striping is being held with a cone of palette in the color, I think it's Pennyroyal, I think the color right, does it say inside here? Can I read that? Yes, Pennyroyal. So yeah, I'm really loving this like bright color up against some of the like more muted shades. Really enjoying that. So don't have really too much to say about that other than like, this is on my cast on list to be a commitment that next year at the end of 2026, when I revisit my cast ons of 2025, God willing, I will be able to show a completed blanket and go, look at what I made. Yeah. And then that brings us to Christmas Day. Originally, I was planning to knit a pattern called the Wrap Down. I did not realize it was a paid for pattern. And it was one of those patterns, like you can look at it and you can see like how it was constructed and how it was designed. And is also in my opinion kind of on the higher end of a price for a pattern. And maybe it's because I just impulse bought plane tickets and was impulse buying a lot of stuff while I was in Florida. But I was like, I just don't feel like spending like the cost of a coffee for something that I already know how to make. So I take inspiration from the wrap down. I'm taking inspiration from the northeasterly pattern as well. And I'm kind of doing my own thing, and I've named what I'm doing, which is just a basic self-drafted pattern. I'm naming it the North Down. So it's in this bag, which is from my Star Wars Advent 2025, and those are the yarns I'm using. I've also used a little tiny bit of Knit Pick Stroll in the color black. And this is what I have so far. This ended up coming on the plane with me today, so you can see Grogu is where I was at 5 in the morning. And this is where we were when we landed. So this is going to be just a basic like bias thing all the way, and it's going to be like a big scarf, but a wide one. And I'm pretty happy with it so far. I've used the color R2D2 all the way, and this is the color Ayla Sakura. I'm not sure who that is, but it's fine. We're rolling with it. I did finish opening all of my Advent colors. What I'm doing is I have them all in order of the days that I got them, and I've also labeled them in case, you know, something happens and they get out of order. But I'm winding them up 5 mini skeins at a time into magic knot balls. So I just have a little ball in here. That's the first. Well, now it's the first 4 colors. It was the first 5 colors, but I'm just winding them up 5 at a time. So like it just feeds one color straight into the next, and I don't have to think a single thought about it, which is my ideal. I'm not going to have any scraps. I don't want them. So yeah, there's that. Now that I have all the colors lined up and I can see them, I am like slightly less salty about the colorways of it. It's still not my favorite thing, and I think if I had seen the colors prior to purchasing it, I don't think I would have purchased this, like just being honest. But I'm like a little bit less salty than I was. I'm just in my feelings that there's so many neutrals. And I know in the last 2 episodes I keep calling them pastels, and what I mean is neutrals. I never knit with neutrals, so I'm like, my feelings are just hurt that I accidentally bought so many neutrals. And it was like the most expensive Advent box that I've purchased, or that has been purchased for me, like by far, like not a little bit, like a lot a bit more expensive than the others. And I'm like, I'm not obsessed with this, and I feel like I should be for like what I paid. I don't know. I digress. Yeah. Oh yeah. What I'm doing for this pattern, I'm gonna hold it close so you can kind of see the texture. I'm doing like a broken rib kind of thing. This is my favorite go-to like textural thing. You do because I do everything inverted. 1 row of knit, 3 rows of purl, 1 row of knit. That's the stitch pattern. And then it's basically you just decrease on the sides, and then when you get to the center, you do a yarn over, knit 1 stitch, yarn over, and then on the back side, you purl that stitch. So you have this little stockinette line with little holes, which is kind of, I don't know, kind of cute. The idea of lace, but not actually lace. I was originally thinking that I was going to put some like lace sections into it. And then I was like, no, I'm not. Because then I have to figure out like, is my center stitch going to stay in my center stitch if I do like yarn over, knit 2 together for like the whole row? I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to do that. I didn't buy the pattern. So I'm not going to do that and have to deal with my consequences. So yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited about my Advent. I think every time I cast on something that's not socks, I think I'm just like really excited about it because I basically only knit socks this year. So I was like super obsessed with my I just called this the Radvent. I did not mean to. I was super obsessed with my Radvent until I cast on my North Down. Now I'm super obsessed with my North Down and I don't want to put it down. So like, you know, we'll see. I feel like I'm gonna later this week I'll be casting on another sweater. And I feel like the moment that hits the needles, I'm also going to be obsessed with that. Like, It's just gonna be all of them. So yeah, anyway, on the 26th, I had to take a break from from my specific 12 days of cast on knitting. I did make a cast on. We will talk about it. So, and here's why. My friend group, my knitting friend group of like personal friends like I hang out with and like talk to and like have a group chat with. For the second year in a row, we have done a Secret Santa pattern exchange where we make like an Elfster. I think I'm in charge of it. I'm the one who organizes this shenanigan. I have like an Elfster account. Everyone like puts in their name and they draw another person. And for their wish list, they just put a link to their Ravelry wish list. And then on Christmas morning, everyone goes through their person's wish list and buys somebody else a pattern. And it's super cute. And so I had learned from last year when I got a pattern that was like incredibly intense and that I didn't think I could do. I decided I was going to severely doctor my Ravelry wish list before sending it to someone else. I was like, surely this will fix me. But then I booked a last minute, and I decided on the 26th that I was going to cast on that pattern so that it was definitely going to get completed, the pattern that was gifted to me, right? And then on Monday, I booked a last minute trip to Florida and was like, oh, I'm going to be in Florida. I'm not going to have like the full run of my stash, but I also don't know what pattern I'm going to have. So I don't know if the yarn is going to be something that will be like better suited for a solid color or a self-striping color, or like what's going to be the best. So I kind of took a wild stab in the dark. I knew that a lot of the patterns in my wish list were mosaic knitting. So I picked a yarn color, and it is the one thing I did not bring over here. It's still in my suitcase that is half unpacked. I picked a color that would go with the heel color for the backup sock so that if I got a mosaic pattern, I would have two colors to knit a mosaic. And if I got something that was like lace or texture, I would be good because I would have a solid color. And on Christmas morning, I received the pattern Chattahoochee. I will put a screenshot of it here. And the person who bought me the pattern, this is so funny. This is so like gift to the magi. The person who bought me the pattern was like, I know how much you love working with self-striping yarn, so I specifically bought this pattern because it goes well with self-striping yarns. I was like, that's the only yarn I don't have with me. All of my other bases were covered. So I was like, well, I'm not casting that on. But I did have a feeling that would happen, so I did bring just like my next regularly scheduled cast on. So in this bag, I have, and I got a ton done on it because I was just so happy with the colors. I did not want to put this down. Also, I just knit a lot when I'm in Florida because my parents live in like the retirement part of Florida and there's just not a lot going on, and I just sit in their house and knit all day. So I'm starting a Little Mermaid theme sock. Are they so cute? This is more Knit Picks yarn. The main color is Felici in the color Sebastian, and which is one of their colors from last year, I think. Did I write it on here? I did not. And the main color is Knit Picks Stroll in the color Deep Purple, which is one of my favorites. So I'm obsessed with these. They look so good. They look good on camera. Like, I don't know. They're so bright. They're so delightful. I'm obsessed with them. And yeah, this is also just my basic vanilla pattern. I'm obsessed. So yeah, I cast those on. Those will be finished at some point. Next Friday, which is the 2nd, is when I will cast on my Chattahoochee pattern. I already know what yarn I'm going to use for it. In fact, we're going to pause on the cast-ons real quick just to stop. I do have an acquisition to show today. It is the Freckled Whimsy yarn for January. I'm so in love with the color. I'm going to show it on camera. If you are subscribed to that and you have not received your yarn yet, you can close your eyes. I will do my best not to describe the colors. We're going to pause real quick so I can open this without making noise. Okay, we're back. So this is what we got. This is what we got. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I feel like, especially if you watch this channel, you're like, yup. So The colorway is Polar Bear Shenanigans. And I'm obsessed. Okay, the yarn is hiding now. So if you were closing your eyes, you can open your eyes now. I'm going to use that yarn for Chattahoochee socks. And I think they're going to look so cool. Assuming I can figure out what the pattern is talking about. Because I opened the pattern and I was like, this is a whole lot. I'm trying to read it. And I feel like what the pattern doesn't have that I want to have is like a schematic. Because I feel like I feel like I needed to explain, like, you're starting from this direction and you're going this direction. It's just like not giving me that. And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. So we'll see what ends up. We'll see how it goes next Friday. I may take the day off just to work on those socks. We'll find out. But that's a next week problem. Anywho, on the 27th, which was Saturday. It was Saturday. I took a break because I've been kind of shuffling everything around and I didn't have that much time to like think about my life. So I didn't get as far as I maybe wanted to on planning. But the thing I had originally scheduled for the 27th was to unravel one of my projects. And I knew that I was going to be in Florida. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to unravel it the next day. So today, I have not done anything for my cast on yet, but I have 2 projects that I'm going to be frogging. So, in this bag, this is one of my favorite tote bags. This was a gift. One of my friends gave me this as a going away. It was like full of stuff, but it was like part of a going away package when I moved to Massachusetts. And it has a typo on it. So instead of saying creativity takes courage, it says creativity takes courage. And I just love that. And I use it all the time because I'm like, you're right. Creativity does take courage. Like sometimes you gotta, And anyway, in this, I have my first ever sweater attempt. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not going to wear it. I already know. I'm not going to wear it. I'm not. And I don't know anyone who would wear it. And I'm just gonna unravel it. I'm just gonna undo it. I'm gonna get all the yarn back. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the yarn. I might put it on my Buy Nothing group. But yeah, that one's gonna go. And then in this one, which is a tote bag from back when I worked in publishing. It's for Epic Reads, which is a very cool publisher. They do books for young adult. I have this blanket. You might notice that it already has the needles missing. That's because the needles are on my North down. I literally rip them out of it and put them in this bag. Actually, let me hold this up again. I didn't look closely when I did this. I was just like, this is the right size and I need to unravel this anyway. I'll just take that needle. And did not pay attention to the fact that this is how much needle I needed. This is how much needle I have. Choices were made. It's fine. It's just a little bit cumbersome and sometimes the cord gets caught on stuff and I'm like, oh my god, why? Why did I do that? And I'm also not sure exactly what size it is, so I don't know what size it is to switch it out with one that's not just absurdly long. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is unravel it and then put this yarn with my big box of Project Linus blankets, and this will end up becoming a baby blanket, which is totally fine. So that is all of the 12 cast-ons so far. If all you wanted was to hear about the yarny stuff, that is all I have for yarn things. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Have a great day. For people who are here for all of the stuff, for life and things and everything, I have so much to talk about. We're going to try to start in chronological order. So last Sunday I had my Yule party and it was phenomenal. It was so much fun. I had about 10 people come over, which is a record high for me. And it was just so cozy and wonderful. It was a pajama party. I made my famous onion sauce. It's famous now. It was so good. You could smell it from the sidewalk. It was just like this giant pot of like caramelized onions and beef, and there were hardly any leftovers. In fact, there were no noodles left. I cooked a whole bag of egg noodles, none left. And I think if I had made more, people would have like eaten more. I made my famous mulled cider. And that one again, it was like if I hadn't warned people like there's no more cider to put in the crock pot, I don't think there would have been any left over. So it's fine. Lessons learned for next year on how much I need to buy for things. Although I probably won't make my onion sauce 2 years in a row because I don't want to end up being stuck with like, this is what I always make for Yule. I will always make mulled cider for Yule because that's my thing. But yeah, anyway, it was super fun. It was such a good time. Got to see all my friends in one place. It was good. I brought like 3 different friend groups together. Oh, it was a good time. And then I, on the 24th, took an evening flight, landed at like 9:20 or so in the evening in my hometown of Punta Gorda, Florida, and had my brother pick me up from the airport. And I think I'm going to show the little clip of when I walked in the door and surprised my parents on Christmas Eve. So watch that. Yeah, so that was absolutely delightful. They were so happy and they stayed happy. It was like every time I walked in the room, they were just like, I'm so happy you're here. And I was like, this is so cute. And it was really nice that my brother got to like conspire with me about it. Like that was really nice. Because my brother and I are like not as close as we could be. So that was like really, really nice that he was like in on it with me and like just helped me, figure it out. Cause like I could take a ride share, but like I've never used a ride share in my life and I don't want to. So yeah, so that was really cute. It was really nice to just like be around my family. And also because I was back at Christmas instead of Thanksgiving, that meant my out of town friends were in town. So I got to see them, which was really, really nice. So shout out to Nina, shout out to Izzy. I got to see both of them. My friend Nina, in fact, is like, she knows a little bit of how to knit, but she needed to learn like what do you do beyond like garter stitch and like the knit stitch. So I taught her how to knit in the round and I taught her how to do seed stitch while we were like in town together, which was like such a delight. And she's so excited about knitting now. And I was like literally like giving her like the names of like other like knitting podcasts to watch and stuff like that. It was so cute. It was the cutest thing. So it was really good to see her. And it was really good to see my friend Izzy too, because like Izzy's like the greatest. And yeah, and we also like we got to explore some. So I picked up some nice pantry staples because there's a really nice spice store in my hometown. There's a really nice vinegar store in my hometown. So I still need to finish unpacking my suitcase and make sure they're not crushed. I'm pretty sure they're still intact because I think I would smell them if they had broken open. But anyway, and we also went book shopping. I went book shopping twice. So that is a whole thing. The first place we went was the bookstore that I used to work at, that I worked at for almost 5 years. And it's funny because when I was in there, the person who was working was someone that I haven't met because I haven't worked there in like 4 years, going on 5 years. So like I don't know half the staff anymore, which is fine. Like this is, an old part of my life. So I'm just shopping, whatever, and I go to check out and I give my name. And the girl looks up. She's like the one who used to be here? And I was like, yes. And she goes, oh my God, you're a legend. And I was like, oh, me. And then like looked her dead in the eyes. So was like, I work in a factory now. What I should have said was like, I'm going to study accounting now. And like, did not occur to me. I was like, I work in a factory. Well, then was like, can you mail the books back to me so I don't have to put them in my suitcase? And she was like, yes. So I have like an entire box of books that will be heading my way because I had to stock up. Specifically needed to stock up on cozy mysteries because that is my favorite genre. And for some reason, where I live in Massachusetts, people have just never heard of cozy mysteries and don't have them in like any of the stores. There are 3 bookstores within a 10-minute drive of my house. None of them have cozy mysteries. It hurts my feelings. And so I bought myself like 5 of them and then bought some other books like I knew that they would have. Like I got a copy of Into Thin Air because I occasionally go down rabbit holes about Everest. And if you're going to rabbit hole about climbing to the top of Mount Everest, you need to read Into Thin Air. And for some reason I just never have. So I was like, I should do that. Got some other books. I got one on the history of the Plantagenets and I forget what else. I don't know. There were some fun ones. So all of those are going to be coming to me at some point. Probably with a drawing on the box because my boss used to draw pictures when people would buy things online to get shipped to them. So I'm a little bit excited to get like a palm tree on a box that's going to come to my house when it's like 18 degrees outside. And, but the book buying did not stop there, as you can see. So the next day, that was when I was hanging out with Nita. The next day I was hanging out with Izzy. And we went to 2 bookstores. Let me see if I can organize these. We went to 2 different bookstores. I think. Hold on. I'm missing a book. Please hold. Okay, hi. So we went to 2 bookstores. And in the first one, I'm going to shout these out. The book Dragon's Lair, which I am obsessed with. They're like my favorite bookstore right now. And I'm a little bit annoyed that I'm not going to be able to go there again until next Thanksgiving. Because literally, like, the way, if I did not have to think about suitcase space, I would have easily dropped like $200 in that store and been set up for like an entire year of reading. Like, being in that store makes me think, like, maybe I should go buy, like, a house in Port Charlotte and, like, move back. I'm like, there's no part of me that thinks I should live in Port Charlotte, Florida. Except for that bookstore. It's dangerous in there, I'm telling you what. Anyway, I picked up On Tyranny because I've never actually read it before, but I know that people talk about it all the time. And I've wanted to read it, and it's been on hold on Libby for, like, some indefinite amount of time. And I can't get it. The second book I got was The Summer I Ate the Rich. This is a YA horror that has to do with like Haitian folklore, Haitian like zombie lore. And I'm really, really excited to read it. Haitian culture is super cool. If you don't know anything about it, you should spend some time looking into like Haitian folklore, Haitian like foodways, Haitian history. It's absolutely fascinating. It is like the coolest thing ever. Like especially like if you think the American Revolution is cool, you should look up the Haitian Revolution. Like just a purpose of nothing. Like it's just a really cool thing to like learn about and just know stuff about. Anyway, yeah, this one's about zombies and Haiti. So immediately sold. And the last thing, there was a book at Thanksgiving when I went to the Dragon's Book Lair that I wanted to get. And there was another book I wanted to get that I'm still currently reading. And I knew that I would not have space in my suitcase for both books. So I left one behind. I put it onto like a bookshop.org wish list. And then I've been thinking about it ever since because the other book I've been reading from them, from like the same section of the store, has been so good. And I'm like, I just really want to read this one too. So I got Black AF History, the Unwhitewashed Story of America by Michael Harriot. And I am ready. I am ready to just like sit down and learn a thing. So that's what that is. I haven't started it yet. I'm going to have so many books. I'm going to be so spoiled for books next year. I'm telling you what, like, it's going to be fantastic. So that was, I thought I was good at Dragon's Book Lair. But then there's a Books A Million. So we also went to the Books A Million, of course. And at Books A Million, the sci-fi got me. So I love sci-fi, and I feel like I can never find enough of it. Or I can never find the kind that I want. So I found Kristen Merbeth's Fortuna. This was a bargain book. I am very excited. It says it's perfect for fans of Becky Chambers and Catherine M. Valenti. and I'm really excited about it. It is from Orbit. I like Orbit a lot. So yeah, I'm excited to sink my teeth into that at some point next year. And then, of course, I picked up some Star Wars books. So I got a trilogy, and this is the Han Solo trilogy from Star Wars Legends. So I got The Paradise Snare, The Hutt Gambit, and Rebel Dawn. And at some point I will read through the 3 of those and have a wonderful, marvelous time. I really do enjoy Star Wars Legends. And here's a hot take. I think the Solo movie is severely underrated. I think it's incredible. And people get really mad about it. And I think it's because it inverts, like, the hero plot arc. So if you are somebody who identifies as the hero and suddenly you don't get the girl and, like, everything, you know, kind of falls on its head and it kind of, like, fails in the end, even though you did everything that you could the correct way, yeah, you're not going to like that movie. And I think it's really telling when people don't like that movie, because I think it's like they want that hero fantasy. And, like, I just be vibing. I watch Star Wars because I like the world building. Like, I just want to escape, bro. So, like, I'm having a great time. I love Solo. I should watch it again. Maybe I'll do that this evening. I need to see if I have other, like, media plans or something. But anyway, yeah. So I got so many books. I still have a whole other box coming. Oh, and I have one more. I borrowed this one from my dad. I almost bought it when I was at the bookstore I used to work at. This is called The Swamp Peddlers, and it's how lot sellers, land scammers, and retirees built modern Florida and transformed the American dream. And it's specifically about Southwest Florida, like Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda. And it basically talks about, like, why that part of the country is like that in terms of infrastructure, which I grew up there. So I did not notice how obvious this was until I started, like, living in Massachusetts. And now when I go back there, I'm like, why do we have to drive 20 minutes to get anywhere? Like, why do we have to drive so far? So, and this talks about, like there's an actual reason why there's, like, no integration of, like, commercial and residential zoning. So you literally just have, like, these giant neighborhoods that are, like stretch miles and miles and don't have, like, any stores inside of them. Like, you have to, like, fully leave your neighborhood to, like, get to a store, you know, or, like, whatever. And it talks about, like why it's like that, and the way that the land was just kind of pawned off, and the way that what people only cared about was, like, draining out the swamp. And yeah, so I'm really excited at some point to get into that. So we are now at 45 minutes. And I feel like there's more stuff I could talk about. Also, that's 45 minutes before I put in the clip in of me actually, like, surprising my parents. So I'm going to stop it here, even though there's probably more that I could talk about. This week has been very full, and I feel very, like, full of love and happiness, and just feel so, like, inspired and whatever. Yeah, I'm going to stop it here. I hope you had a wonderful series of holidays. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. If you're doing 12 days of cast ons, I hope all of your cast on projects are going splendidly and marvelously. And yeah, I will see you next week. Okay, bye.